Hello everyone and welcome back to the suggestion series. Today's episode is on backpack compare links and item identifications. There's going to be a lot of information in this one particularly, so use it wisely. Just a quick tip before we get started. The footage in this video uses a custom script to make grabbing compare links easier. You can retrieve it using the link in the description or watching the 5th video in this series, which will cover more of the scripts involved. Some basic rules of suggesting before we get started. When suggesting, make sure you use both the relevant compare links. This means one from the seller side and one from the buyer side. This is done to guarantee that all items are accounted for in suggestions. Compare links are the fundamental basis of viewing sales, and it's important to understand them in order to use them properly. To someone using the site for the first time, compare link can be a confusing ordeal. To start, I strongly advise getting the automatic compare link script. Without it, simply go to a user's backpack page. The compare tool is seen right above the sales graph, and you can use this to compare any 2 dates the user's backpack was accessed. In the case of this user, his backpack was accessed between the dates of April 28th and April 30th, and selecting the two will compare the items that have entered and exited the backpack in that time. The tool will also show you the items that were obtained together, most often in the same trade. It's fairly important to note here that neither the compare tool nor history links are perfect. For instance, in this history, the site shows that the item was last registered in his backpack on April 28th. However, when checking the compare links between April 25th and April 28th, nothing of relevance is shown. Compare links for a specific hat are not perfect. Due to this, it's important to check the dates before and after the sale to make sure you aren't excluding potential data in your suggestion. Occasionally, there are times when a sale is labeled untraceable. What this means is that neither compare link shows an accurate representation of the trade, so using the data provided there would be either incorrect or inaccurate. For instance, in this compare link, nothing is shown on the receiving end. Because there's nothing to show, the sale obviously cannot be used. A useful tool in reading compare links is item identification numbers. When an item enters a backpack, it gains a new current ID. This is different from the original ID, the one shown in the history link URL. The current identification can be used in compare links to link items to sales. In this compare link, there are 4 distinct groups of items entering the backpack, each of which different value. There is also a haunted ghost hat to kill for leaving the backpack, and there are 2 simple ways to find out what it sold for. The first is to check the histories of each group of items in an attempt to cross-reference the key histories with the hat history. Doing so, I find that the last group of 20 keys matches histories with the hat. The hat in question went from Sprecht to Snow, while one of the keys went from Snow to Sprecht. This leads me to believe that Sprecht sold this hat for 20 keys. The second method is a lot faster, although it may not work in every situation. When looking at the seller's compare link, I can take the buyer's current ID number and paste it into the seller's link under the ID section like so. Doing this for Sprecht's backpack shows that only the 20 keys that were involved in the trade, while minimizing all items that were not involved. This method is the most useful when dealing with backpacks that deal in large quantities of items like SDN bots or popular quick buyers. A problem with using the current ID method is that it may not work all the time. You can fix some of these errors by clicking the arrow labeled View Entire Item History on the right of the compare link. This will show you more detailed current IDs. This is because editing an item in any way creates a new current ID for it, whether through renaming, redescribing, removing custom aspects, or applying a strangifier. For instance, in this history, I've edited my hat 5 times. In the relevant compare links, only the first ID on July 3rd would match, while the more current ones in April of this year would not. It's important to use the full item history when matching IDs to get all relevant information out of the history. Some of the examples shown in this video do not apply to duped item histories. There will be a video on duped item suggesting later in the series, but I hope this video in particular helped to explain the usefulness of compare links, and I thank you for watching. As always, stay tuned for the next video.